Well, what's going on, guys? Um, I'm pretty excited to actually do this video this morning. Um, this should be pretty cool for you guys to see. It's just a cool experience, I think, for horsemen and horses and the audience to watch this. That whenever we're transitioning horses, either to the Hackamore out of a halter or the Hackamore to the two rein, we're introducing them to the bit. Also, when they go straight up, right? Those are just cool phases in the bridle horse system. Um, so I wanted to share today that Vienta is ready to move to the Hackamore. Little baby. Um, this should be pretty neat for you guys to see. I'm just going to share with you kind of how I do it, and what I'm looking for, and essentially, really what the goal of today is. So it's not just to fit her for the Hackamore. It's really to fit her for the Hackamore and to develop a really positive experience and a good foundation right out of the gate. So first off, I will show you guys how I tie my Makate on my Hackamore, and just walk you through the process specifically for young horses. So I've got another one that I was thinking about using on this horse. This is an older Hackamore. The other one is just a little bit stiffer. It's newer too. This is a new Makate I don't know, picked up a few months ago for 5 Ace Hackamores. And we're going to try it today. I used it on another horse the other day, but yeah, I really like the feel of it. I'm not a huge fan of like brand new stuff. I like it a little broke in, but yeah, it's got a great feel. All the Makates I pretty much ever use are T3 weavers. It's made of alpaca. I love that over horsehair. Wow, girl. So I like this one for this horse because it's just a little bit softer. It's still got a pretty stiff feel, good rebound to it. But I don't want to introduce something that is too sharp, too hard of a wall, right? When I pick up my hands, depending on the horse. So for this horse, I think this Hackamore is going to be a good fit. We'll get it sized up, get it tied, and go from there. And if we need to make adjustments down the road, we can always do that. Let's say it's a little too flimsy, too soft, or maybe a little too stiff. So this is a 10.5 Hackamore. That's, in my experience, 99% of horses will fit in a 10.5s. So when I'm tying this, most people put their tail through the front. I don't want to do that because when that's sitting on this horse's head, she can lip that, and young horses are, it's very common for them to do that. They'll grab that and start gnawing the end of that tail off. So I like tying my Hackamores, my Makates on my Hackamores backwards, right? So that the tail's facing back, facing their butt. So I'm going to do that, okay, just like this. I'm going to start wrapping counterclockwise. I'm only going to do one wrap on this. I'm going to come through, and I like having as few wraps as possible on my Hackamores. I don't like having, you see a lot of guys, they've got like 3 or 4. Way too much. Smaller Hackamore, less wraps. It's going to equate to more feel, less slop, right, when you pick up. So yeah, this is a cool experience to share with you guys. I love when horses transition basically gear, right? When they make that shift from either going from the halter to the Hackamore, Hackamore to two rein straight up. Just a cool experience to share. So let's see how that goes. So all I did was I counterclockwise pulled my reins through. Pulled my reins through, then did an overhand twist. Okay. I locked that down. I pulled it tight. I've got my reins coming out the back, and I've got my get down coming out the front. Okie dokie. I can make you guys a separate full tutorial on that if everybody needs it, like slow mode or some deal. But okay, so to start, one, I'm just going to pull this through. Guys, just throwing this out there. If you tie your get down around your horn, just don't do that. That's not what it's for. One, you're not going to be able to rope like that. Two, it is totally defeats the purpose of a get down, right? The get down is when you get off your horse, you got a way to lead him if you need to. Or if you get bucked off, you got a way to stop him from running all the way back home. Yeah, it does you no good if it's tied on your horn. You may see me ride with my get down on Hazel. You know, I want to say that's a 3/8 get down. Might be 1/4 inch, but I think it's 3/8. You may see me tie that on my saddle strings, and if I'm doing that, it means I'm not roping, and it means the horse is pretty finished if I do that. So, but yeah, back to the point. This is Vienta, guys, and it's time for her to transition to the Hackamore. So let's get her fitted for this here. We'll have to make some adjustments. And really what I'm going to focus on doing here is making sure that all this is nice and neat. I don't want any binding or tangles or pulling on her. At least I'd like to avoid that as much as possible. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put reins over first. Sweetheart. And we're going to go ahead. I want her to come my direction a little bit. Oh, you're all right. You're all right. Yeah. Okay. Hackamore. Over the ears, nice and smooth. Pull this forward. Okay, so it's got to come tighter here. And that's what I kind of thought about this horse is she needed a little bit smaller of a Hackamore, so this will be perfect for her. The other one's just a touch bigger. Okay, so something important to mention, guys. See if you guys can see this, and I'll move this halter out of the way here. I'm not going to pull on her here. I don't want that to be her experience. Okay, you guys can see her sideways. She has got quite a bit of a gap under here. Not big, but she's got one finger. I like my Hackamores fitting really snug under that jawbone. So that about fits her good. Just the tightness of this hanger. So I'm going to tighten this hanger up, and I'll show you guys on this side what I'm doing. I don't want to ask her to move off the Hackamore yet. All I'm doing is tightening this hanger here. So I adjusted it. Now I'm going to suck it down. Okay. Like that. It's out of the eye also. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to take one more wrap. So she's already really sensitive to that Hackamore. You can see when I put it on her nose. When I put it on her nose, she wasn't too sure about it. And that's why I'm happy I kind of made the choice of this Hackamore, which is a little bit softer than the other 5/8 I was thinking about using. But okay, so we're here, right? I'm through. Just gonna go counterclockwise. So this is where I was before. I just had one wrap and then pulled my reins through. I'm gonna go 2 wraps. So I'm here, come around again, and then through. And that should fit her just perfect. We want to talk about rein length. I don't want to go wingspan. I want to go a little bit 45 of my wingspan. That is about the length of a Hackamore rein I like to ride. And that's just from a lot of experience. I couldn't even tell you the exact length, right? The measurement of it. But I will tell you that that tends to ride the best. It's a perfect amount of rein. So if you see this twist, right? If it's like this, just untwist it like that. And then you can go ahead and tie your rein. So again, just do a forward twist here, over the Hackamore, suck it down. Okay? Suck it down here. So some people might consider that one full wrap under your rein. I consider that two. 2 or 1 is pretty much all I'm going to ride. If I got to go 3, I need a different Hackamore size pretty much, in my mind. So again, I'll just put this get down through my belt, just so it's not dragging on the ground for this. We'll go reins over the head. Hi, sweetheart. Yes. Oh, yeah. Go here. Let me see. Yeah. New experience. Yeah. There you go. It's nice. Nice and snug is what I'm looking for. Not looking for a tight fit on the Hackamore. Looking for a snug fit. That's perfect. Really perfect. Okay, guys. See if you can see this. Right? Barely any room between my rein and her jaw. But I'd say half a finger to 1 finger distance from her jaw to the top of the rein. So just barely some daylight right there. You want this to fit, again, snug. You don't want it to be tight. You don't want it flopping around, a lot of loose signal, swinging back and forth. You want the tiniest movement to mean something to them. And if it's got this big of a gap between your wraps and your jawbone of the horse, they're not going to feel anything until it picks up, right? It's kind of like the principle of closer, you can feel more. So like a really good analogy is if I handed you the rein, and you can try this at home. This is kind of trade secrets, but yeah, if I hand you the rein and I squeeze my hand here, you won't feel it. But if I shorten the rein to here and I squeeze my hand, you can feel it, right? So shorter transfers energy easier. You can feel a lot more, which is why I ride short Ramal reins. I ride short Hackamore, Makati reins. I like to be right before the point of contact. So if I squeeze my hand, create tension, anything, second I even think about picking up, they feel all of that. It's just going to help you communicate with your horse a little clearer. So what am I going to do for her first experience in the Hackamore? Again, I'll just reiterate, right? We're out of the eye here. This Hackamore is right at the change of the nasal bone. So we're all bone right here. And when I feel her nose dip down into these nasal channels on both sides, right before that change is where this Hackamore needs to sit. Okay. You don't want it all the way up high on the bone. It's not a sensitive area, not that we're trying to cause any pain or extreme pressure, but I need to be able to work off a section of a horse's nose that does have sensitivity to it, right? I'm not going to abuse it, but it's going to help me communicate easier. And that change where that bone comes to cartilage is a very, very high sensitive area. So I'm using that not to create any type of high pressure or pain, but I'm using that so that she can feel everything that I'm asking. I'm never going to bang on her with this. So to start, I want these reins to mean something to her. So we'll see here. I'm going to pick up. A little bit of nerve, sweetheart? Yeah. Yeah, right. We'll go ahead and take her forward so you guys can see this a little bit. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask for a backup. Okay. I'm going to pick up my reins. So first I'm going to get short here, right? Have about this much. The heel knot is setting on her chin. Okay. Nothing's picked up. I'm going to pick up and ask her to shift without contacting her. Good job. So I'm going to use every opportunity that I can to get her to move without me pulling, right? Ever. A little more. Thank you. So this is part of her figuring it out. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I'm trying to be a little bit close so you guys can see my hands and everything. Try this again. We're here. I'm going to pick up the Hackamore for a moment here. Let her feel it. Good. Oh. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. So there's a lot of movement, right? She's swatting flies, whatever. We're not too worried about it. She's also not backing straight, right? She's moving her hip around a little bit. That's just her figuring this out. We're not going to make a big deal out of it right now. So I'm here. Thank you. So I don't want to pull on this Hackamore this way right now, because that's going to be the opposite movement of what I'm trying to teach. Get her in frame a little bit more for you guys. Okay. I'm going to disengage the hip bolt directions with this Hackamore. It's good looking and showing. Good. Try it again. Good. This direction. Very nice. Good. So that was really, really good there. Basically what she did is I picked up the weight of it and she moved. Try that again. Stop right there, sweetheart. Thank you. Trying to keep her in frame for you guys. Just making sure this means something to her here. I always want this rein to mean feet right now, not necessarily head. It's very dangerous to teach any lateral flexion for head and not associating it to the feet. So when I pick up this rein, I need those feet to move, not the head to move. If you've ever been on a horse that runs away with you, I have seen them and been on plenty that brace, you pull their head to disengage the hip, and they lock their head and put it on your knee, and they're running straight. No, thank you. I do not like that. The way you prevent that is these reins are always associated to the feet. The head is a subset of that, right? So the head reflects what the feet do. So here I'm going to ask again. Good. Notice I'm not pulling, I'm not yanking on this, right? Oh, I'm not asking you. Good. Okay. Straighten her up here a little bit. Good. We'll ask her back up again. Very nice. Very nice. Get this hip this direction. Thank you. Back up. Thank you. So all I'm trying to do here, guys, is make really, really small positive experiences with this Hackamore right now. This is what she's going to be rode in basically for the next 2-3 years. And it's good to start off strong, right? Give her a really good foundation of what it means, what's going to be expected of her, and help her understand the equipment, right? This is going to be our language. So when that heel knot lifts off her chin, it's always going to mean shift back for her entire life. That doesn't mean I'm not going to ask forward, right? Ask her to bridle up and drive forward. But it's always going to mean shift back to some degree, which is why we start with the backup. Oh, excuse me. Good. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Just going to give her a moment here. Guys, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is her first day in a Hackamore. Licking and chewing here. But it's very important you do a good job doing this, right? You know, if I just go to ride them in the Hackamore, something happens. You know, it's going to create a lasting negative memory to some degree. Not saying you can't undo it. I just want to set these horses up. Thank you. Set these horses up for as good of a life as possible in building really, really good experiences early on. Definitely something that's going to help them. It's going to make our jobs a lot easier, make their lives easier. I sure. Okay. Let's try this again here. A little back up. Thank you. So I'm doing everything in my power to not contact this jawbone. So I'm trying to get that not to touch, right? What I want is for this to lift off and her to shift back. You know, we may need to tweak this fit just a touch. You know, I would almost maybe pull that Hackamore up just a little bit, just to bring that strand a little bit up to that jaw. We could almost maybe do one more wrap also, but you know, I think that's just about fine. I'm a big fan of the 2 wraps, especially if you can get it to fit good. That might be just a flick big, but we'll tweak it as we go. We'll see how she rides in it. Try this back again. Very nice. So let's see if we can get this a little straighter. I'm just looking at the fit of this Hackamore here. I almost want to put another wrap on. It's not something that I might typically do. You know, 3 is a little bit on the high side. You know, you'll see some reining cow horse people put a ton of wraps on, and not a big fan of that. Right, like I said, it makes your signals a lot sloppier. Anywhere, you know, truthfully, anywhere between 1 to 4 is supposedly acceptable. You know, like I said, I want to stay ideally around that 1 to 2 range. But we're going to put 3 on this Hackamore and see how she handles it here. I think she's going to do just a little bit better with this fit. Because you can see that it's just a little bit sloppy because there's a touch big gap between her jawbone and that top strand of the rein. So this might be a little much. We'll see. Might be a little too snug now, but see how she does here. Like I said, guys, this is part of this phase, is just kind of tweaking your equipment and making sure, not just slapping it on the horse and saying, horse, figure it out, but making sure that you get this stuff tuned up just right for these horses, because it makes your life, makes your life a lot easier. Makes your schooling, makes your language a lot easier, a lot simpler for the horse to understand, rather than trying to get them to understand something that isn't quite clear. So this, I think, is going to be better. I've got maybe a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of movement until it contacts that jaw. I like the snugger fit, like I was talking about. Let's see how she does here. Very nice. So I like the feel of that instantly better. Yeah, so this would be 1/2 of a finger. I can just get my fingertip between her jaw and the Hackamore. That's enough for her to still open her mouth, drink, eat a little bit if we need to. But yeah, I prefer the snugger fit. It's going to be a lot clearer signal to them. Try this again here. So you could tell that already means something substantially more to her, right? I'm not nearly making as many verbal cues. She's shifting back pretty darn quick. She may need just 1/2 a size smaller Hackamore. So this is a 10.5. She may need a 10. Just that would eliminate basically one of those wraps. So we may make the investment for this horse, but we'll see. Nothing wrong with how this rides. Doing my best to keep her in frame for you guys, which she's probably not right now. Let's see here. Okay, maybe about right here. Step over. Maybe about right there. Okay. Good girl, Vienta. See how she does here? Pick up. Good. Good. So guys, basically we're trying to transition, or I'm sorry, transfer information from our halter, from our groundwork, from the ride she has to this Hackamore right now, right? Because she's soft. I mean, she'll back up off that. She's just got to understand what this Hackamore means. This is why we take our time right now to develop this. So we're here, mask. Good. Good. That was really nice there. This is a total new piece of equipment, right? You're going to be like, what the heck? Why are they riding worse in this than the halter? And just give them a day, right? Give them a day or two. Let them get used to it. Do this. And then when they figure it out and they start to make that connection, they're going to ride awesome in this. This is a great piece of equipment. It's got enough boundary to it where they hit it and they want to stay between, right, those Hackamore walls. They want to stay in that open floating space. And essentially, you know, it works this way too, right? It's the same principle as a spade bit. But that's why we want to take our time to teach them this, to stay with this balance, stay in this comfort point. Because the spade bit, the Hackamore, use the exact same principle. So if you get this down right in the Hackamore, transitioning the spade when it's time is pretty straightforward. Go ahead and ask again. Wanted to get her attention, not asking. Now we'll ask. Good. So that was really nice right there. Really nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and disengage the hip both directions. Good. Guys, I use the clucking, the verbal cue, just because since pretty much the moment I start handling young horses, I use that cue. It's a very easy signal, and I use that cue to mean energy, right? So it could be walking forward, could be backing up. It just means whichever door is open, move through that door. So the door is open to move her hip to the left here. Thank you. I'm making it a really, really big point to be giving this back as quickly as I can, right? I want my horses to be soft. Let me rephrase that. Softer than they've ever been when we're in the Hackamore. Halter, they're going to be super soft, right? But this Hackamore, it's just super, super important to make sure that you get these horses understanding this as good as possible, right? And following it as good as possible, because you've got 2 to 3 years and teaching them a lot of maneuvers, skills. So hopefully you guys can see this. Pick up a little bit. Good. Do that again. This is a good angle for you guys, I think. Good. I liked that. One thing that's important to mention there is I wasn't using my body to create that turn, right? It wasn't my energy back there. That was all the rein. So that's a really good deal. Good. Go ahead and go back the other way real quick. Good. Walk her here so you guys can see. Sorry for how dirty she is, guys. Everybody needs a bath. Back up. Good. Do this once more. Good. 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 I'm going to ask again, and I want her to float, okay? I want to pick up. I interrupted her thought right there. I want to pick up, just float that rein, and her shift back, okay? So we're here. Make a little noise, need attention. No. Good. Good. Try this again in a moment. Okay. Here we go. If she nails this, we're done. Good. So nothing too fancy, guys. It's probably fairly boring to watch. I don't know. Hopefully you guys get something from this. Hopefully it's beneficial for what you guys are doing. Like I said, this is just a very important part of a horse's training, to take your time, make sure that they get this down pretty good, because we're going to be trying to teach them quite a bit through this piece of equipment. So this is something that's worth just going through some of these extra steps. Don't just slap it on and go riding. Take your time, do a good job. It's no dazzling training today, right? This is just real horsemanship. This is what I do with every horse I put in the Hackamore to start. Right, I want those reins to always mean shift back. And she's still learning back. I think she's only backed up ever with me on her back twice. So this is new to her, but it's very important that early on she understands that heel knot lifting off her jaw is what means to shift back, right? That Hackamore is asking for her to follow that balance point. So case in point, take your time with this, guys. It's worth taking the extra steps. Like I said, you're going to be riding in this if you're a bridle rangeman, bridle horseman. You're going to be riding in your Hackamore for 2 to 3 years. At least I am. If I'm starting them at 3, we're going to spend probably a year in this, probably 6 months to 8 months, maybe a year in the 1/2 inch, 6 months in the 3/8, and 6 months in the 2 rein potentially. So we can just round that. Excuse me. We could say a year in the 5/8, right? 6 months and 6 months for the 1/2 inch and the 3/8, and then 6 months for the 2 rein. So that's basically you schooling in a Hackamore for at least 2.5 years. Come here, sweetheart. So case in point, right, is that's probably too close. Sorry, guys. Doing my best to keep everything in frame and close enough for you to see and the whole deal. But thank you. Yeah, if you back into it like that, we're talking, you schooling in the Hackamore for at least 2.5 years. And you know, if I'm going to be taking that commitment to basically make a horse in the Hackamore, you know, and then we're going to be refining a lot of stuff in the spade bit. But, you know, getting all your foundation, your fundamentals done in the Hackamore, you know, I want to make sure that we start off good in this piece of equipment, right? I do not want to be, thank you. I do not want to be setting up, you know, something that may not need to happen. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to create negative experiences right out of the gate. So take your time, do this, guys. You know, video is a little bit slow, but this is just real stuff. So this is how I do it. I wanted to share it with you guys, so hopefully it's beneficial for you. Yeah, go through this process. I think it's worth just taking the extra time to do this. Make sure, again, that fit is right. I want it to be pretty snug to that jawbone, about half a finger. Ideally, you know, when I pick up, I want it to move. You can see that. It's a good angle. That's probably an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, somewhere like that, of movement. I don't want this giant sloppy signal. I want a small refined signal. Where are you going? She says, I need to go finish my breakfast. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense, guys. As always, if you have questions, comments, leave them below. We'll get back to you. Again, this is Vienta. She's one of our 3-year-olds. She just got started. You guys saw the video. I want to say maybe 2 months ago, but she's doing awesome. She's probably the most athletic out of all the young horses that we've started this year. Yeah. Questions, comments below. If you guys don't subscribe, subscribe. We appreciate all you guys watching. It means the world to us. Hi, sweetheart. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, enjoy. We'll see you soon.